The Galactic Council was a place no human had ever seen. Hundreds of species filled the Great Hall, floating, walking, and hovering in ways humans could not imagine. Each species had its own color, shape, and way of communicating. Some spoke with sound, some with thought, and some even used light. The room was massive, stretching farther than a city. High above, huge windows showed countless stars, shining cold and distant. Ethan Brooks stood at the edge of the hall, hidden from view. He was a human, one of the few humans allowed to be there, and only as a witness. He was tall, with brown hair and sharp eyes. His hands clenched as he looked at the leaders of the galaxy. He could feel their eyes on Earth. They did not like what they saw. Laura Pierce, a biologist from New York, stood beside him. She was smaller than Ethan, but she had a bright mind and a courage that could match any soldier. She held a tablet that showed Earth's report. It said humans had been building ships, exploring space, and refusing to obey the rules of the Council. The leaders began to speak. First, a tall green being with many arms stepped forward. Its voice was harsh but calm. Earth is dangerous. They are wild and unpredictable. If we allow them to grow, they will destroy our colonies. A blue, floating creature added, "We cannot let them continue. Their planet is chaotic, filled with disease, predators, and violent humans. They do not respect the ways of the galaxy." One by one, the leaders spoke, repeating the same ideas. Humans were too strong, too clever, and too free. They had survived wars, disease, and famine on their world. Other species could not understand this. They thought humans were reckless. Ethan felt anger rise inside him. He had spent his life learning, building, and exploring. Humans had always fought for survival, but these beings wanted to punish them for it. Laura squeezed his hand. She felt it too. Finally, the vote began. Each species raised a hand or used their method to show their choice. One by one, every hand went up. Every species voted to enslave Earth. There was no debate, no chance for mercy. Humans were to be controlled, their world taken, their freedom ended. Ethan could not believe it. He had expected prejudice, maybe fear, but not complete betrayal. He looked at Laura. Her eyes were wide with shock, but they also burned with determination. They both knew what had to happen. Humans would not bow. Not now. Not ever. The Council ordered their fleets to prepare. Hundreds of ships left their stations and began moving toward Earth. Some were small fighters, fast and deadly. Others were massive, bigger than mountains, carrying weapons that could destroy cities in minutes. Humans watched the skies as these ships arrived. People panicked. Governments tried to organize defense, but nothing could stop what was coming. Airports and highways were clogged with people trying to escape. Cities lit up with sirens, and yet no army could match the technology above. Ethan and Laura ran to one of the largest observation towers. They watched as the first ships entered orbit. Alien ships shimmered in strange colors, covered with shields and strange weapons. The air crackled with energy as the invaders tested their beams on empty fields. Trees and rivers vaporized in moments. "This is only the beginning," Ethan said. His voice was calm, but inside, his heart raced. "We have to survive. We have to learn. One day, they will regret this." Laura nodded. "We need to organize. We cannot fight them directly. Not yet. But we can prepare." The first attacks came quickly. Aliens targeted major cities, capturing humans in great numbers. Families were torn apart. People were taken aboard ships and sent to labor camps on distant worlds. The Council wanted Earth's resources, its people, and its technology. Humans had nothing to bargain with, but humans were not like other species. Even in fear, they adapted. Soldiers used guerrilla tactics to slow down alien forces. Engineers like Ethan studied alien technology. Laura observed the invaders' biology and their weaknesses. Slowly, humans began to understand the machines and methods of their oppressors. In one city, Chicago, a small group of humans managed to destroy an alien supply station. It was a small victory, but it gave hope. People realized that even with their technology, humans could strike back. They could survive. They could resist. Ethan and Laura traveled from city to city. They helped survivors escape. They taught people how to avoid alien patrols. They collected weapons and information. Everywhere they went, humans started forming small communities. Each group learned from the other. They shared knowledge. They trained. They prepared. Meanwhile, in space, the Council's leaders grew frustrated. They expected obedience. They expected fear. But humans were proving them wrong. Ships went missing. Aliens disappeared. Sometimes, when they returned, they carried tales of humans who fought without fear. Ethan and Laura found a small group of survivors hiding in an abandoned factory. Among them was a young pilot named Derek Cole. He had lost his family in the first wave of attacks. Derek was angry and determined. He wanted revenge. Together, they made plans. "We can't beat them all at once," Ethan said, "but we can strike where they least expect it. We can free people. We can learn their systems. One day they will fear humans more than we fear them." Laura added, "We must be smart. We cannot win with brute force yet. We need knowledge. We need patience. And we need courage. Humans have all three." The group nodded. They knew it would be dangerous. They knew many would die. But they also knew they had no choice. Survival was the only option. And survival meant fighting back. The first raid was planned carefully. Derek piloted a small, stolen craft, while Ethan and a few others hacked the alien ship's systems. Laura provided guidance, pointing out weak points in the alien shields. When the time came, they struck fast. The alien ship was disabled. Humans were freed. It was a small victory, but it showed what was possible. News spread quickly. Across Earth, other groups saw that humans could fight back. Fear turned into determination. Communities that had hidden in terror began to fight in secret. Underground networks formed. Communication lines were created to share news of victories and warnings. Ethan, Laura, and Derek realized something important. The aliens had underestimated humans. They saw them as weak, primitive, and simple. They did not understand that humans were survivors. Humans had been forged by harsh conditions, diseases, wars, and death. Every challenge had made them stronger, faster, and smarter. Ethan looked at the stars one night. The alien fleets glimmered above Earth like a storm. "They think they can control us," he said quietly. "They think we are simple. But they don't know what Earth has done to us. They don't know what humans can do." Laura stood beside him. "We are more than they imagined, and we will show them." In the cities, towns, and forests, humans prepared. They repaired what was broken. They learned from what was captured. They trained their bodies and minds. The Council had thought they were voting for Earth's chains. Instead, they were creating something they could not control. By the end of the first year, humans had become more organized. Small groups had freed hundreds of captives. The Council was growing nervous. Aliens no longer spoke of Earth as a weak world. They whispered about humans in fear. Ethan, Laura, and Derek watched the night sky, knowing the battles had only begun. But they also knew something else. The vote of chains, the day every species tried to enslave Earth, would be remembered forever. Not as a day of defeat, but as the spark of human resistance. Humans were ready. They would survive. They would adapt. And one day the galaxy would learn the meaning of the word Deathworlders. The first year after the vote of chains had changed everything. Humans were no longer simple survivors. They had become clever, cunning, and dangerous. Every captured alien ship, every weapon they studied made them stronger. Earth had survived the first attacks, but the people knew that survival was only the beginning. They had to fight back. Ethan Brooks, Laura Pierce, and Derek Cole moved through the ruins of what was once New York City. The streets were empty, but the buildings still held tools, parts, and supplies. Every step they took reminded them of what had been lost, but also of what could be rebuilt. "We cannot fight all of them at once," Ethan said, studying the star maps. "The fleets above are too strong, but we can hit their supply lines. We can free people, and we can learn." Laura nodded. "We have to be careful. We are small, but we are smart. Every move must count. Derek, young and fierce, clenched his fists. Let's hit them hard. If we give them fear, they will hesitate. That is all we need. The trio began their first mission together. They had gathered a small crew, humans who had survived alien raids and wanted revenge. Using a stolen alien ship, they practiced flying in secret. Derek, the best pilot, studied the alien controls with skill that surprised even Ethan. The ship responded to his touch like it was alive. Their first target was a small transport ship carrying human prisoners. The aliens had taken them from a mining colony on the outskirts of the solar system. The humans had no weapons, no hope, but Ethan and his crew planned to give them both. As they approached the transport, Derek whispered, "We go in fast. We disable their shields, then board. Minimal damage, maximum effect." Laura monitored the energy levels of the alien ship. She had studied their systems and knew exactly where the weak points were. With precise timing, they struck. The shields flickered, alarms blared, but the humans had trained for this. Ethan led the boarding party. They moved silently, their weapons ready, their minds focused. The aliens were strong, but unprepared for human courage. Within moments, the prisoners were freed. They ran to the ship grateful but also wary. They had lost everything. Ethan addressed them calmly. "We will keep you safe. We will take you home, and one day we will make them pay for what they have done." The victory was small, but the news spread like wildfire. Humans began to whisper about the pilots and fighters who moved like shadows, striking without warning. The aliens no longer saw humans as simple prey. They began to fear them. Ethan and his crew knew that fear was powerful, but it was only a start. They needed more than small victories. They needed to understand the enemy. They needed to learn their technology, their weaknesses, their habits. Over the next months, the team traveled from world to world. They rescued captives, sabotaged supply lines, and studied alien systems. Laura's knowledge of biology and medicine became critical. She discovered that some species relied on chemical signals for communication, and she could disrupt them. Derek's skill as a pilot allowed them to move fast and avoid detection. Ethan's leadership brought them together. He trained the rescued humans to fight, to survive, to think. Every freed person became a soldier, a scout, a teacher. Humans learned quickly. They shared knowledge, adapted strategies, and became a force the aliens could not ignore. In one raid, they discovered a massive alien weapon hidden on a remote planet. It was a cannon designed to destroy entire cities. Ethan studied it carefully. With Laura's help, they disabled the controls and rewired it. Now the weapon could be used against the aliens themselves. Word of these attacks spread through the alien fleets. Commanders grew nervous. Reports of human strikes were no longer dismissed. Entire fleets began moving cautiously, fearing ambushes. They realized that humans had learned to fight like no species before. Back on Earth, resistance groups formed. People rebuilt cities, repaired ships, and trained in secret. They developed tactics that used the environment to their advantage. Forests, mountains, and rivers became natural defenses. Humans had learned that their planet, harsh as it was, had prepared them for this moment. Ethan and Laura visited one of these groups in Colorado. Children trained alongside adults. They learned to move silently, to observe, and to act. Laura watched as a young girl demonstrated a clever trap she had invented to stop alien patrols. The humans were not only surviving, they were thriving. Derek looked at the children with pride. They are ready. One day they will fight even better than we do. The team faced setbacks too. In one mission, an ambush killed several of their people. The aliens had learned some of their methods and struck unexpectedly. Ethan mourned the loss but knew they could not stop. Every mistake was a lesson. Every loss strengthened their resolve. As the years passed, the humans became known across the galaxy as the Death Worlders. The name came from Earth itself. Other species called Earth a death world, a planet where survival was nearly impossible. Humans had adapted to the harshest conditions, and now they used that strength against the aliens. Ethan, Laura, and Derek realized something important. Humans did not just fight, they learned. Every encounter with the aliens taught them something new. Every ship they captured gave them new weapons and knowledge. Every freed human added to their strength. One day, while studying an alien communication hub, Laura made a shocking discovery. The Council had always feared Earth, not because humans were weak, but because they were dangerous. Earth had made humans strong. Every disease, every predator, every harsh winter had forged them into something no other species could match. Ethan read the report and smiled grimly. They thought they could control us. They thought we were simple. But they don't understand what Earth has done to us. We are ready. The human raids grew bolder. They struck entire colonies, freeing thousands at a time. They destroyed supply depots and captured alien ships. Every victory inspired more humans to join the fight. Communities across the galaxy began to unite. Humans were no longer alone. Aliens tried to fight back. They sent fleets, stronger weapons, and deadly patrols. But humans had learned to move quickly, strike unexpectedly, and adapt. The more the aliens attacked, the stronger humans became. Their methods were unpredictable, their courage unshakable. In one decisive battle, Derek led a strike against a convoy of alien ships. Using a combination of stealth and speed, they disabled the largest ship and captured it. Laura used its technology to improve human weapons. Ethan knew that every captured ship, every victory, was a step toward a larger goal. Freedom not just for humans, but for all who had suffered under alien rule. At night, on their stolen ships, the team would look at the stars. They remembered Earth, their families, and the vote that had condemned their planet. They felt anger, yes, but also hope. The galaxy had tried to enslave them, but humans had learned to fight smarter, faster, and stronger than anyone had expected. We are small, Ethan said one night, but we are more dangerous than they think. Every battle we fight, every life we save makes us stronger. One day the council will regret their vote, Laura nodded. We are learning faster than they can teach, and we will not stop until every human is free. Derek grinned. Then let them come. We are ready. The spark of retaliation had begun. What had started as survival was becoming a movement. The humans were no longer weak, frightened creatures hiding on their homeworld. They had become fighters, strategists, and survivors. The council had tried to enslave them, but in doing so it had forged the first steps of a rebellion that would change the galaxy forever. Ethan looked at the stars above. The alien fleets moved like shadows across the void, but humans had learned to strike faster, to hide, and to adapt. One day they would rise. One day humans would show the galaxy the strength of a species born on a death world. And when that day came, no vote, no fleet, and no council would ever threaten Earth again. By the third year after the vote of chains, humanity had changed. The once scattered and frightened humans had become a growing force across the galaxy. They were no longer only survivors. They were fighters, strategists, and teachers. The aliens had underestimated them. That mistake would cost the council dearly. Ethan Brooks walked through the hangar of a captured alien base on the planet Valmerus. He had never seen technology like this before. Ships larger than cities rested in the bays. Weapons hummed with power. Humans had learned to repair, modify, and even improve these machines. Derek Cole piloted a new fighter, testing its speed and agility. Laura Pierce monitored the energy output of the alien power cores. This is incredible, Derek said, his eyes wide. We can fly faster, strike harder, and survive longer than any alien fleet expects. Ethan nodded. They thought Earthlings were weak. They thought we could not survive. They were wrong. Every time we free humans or capture technology, we grow stronger. Laura adjusted some readings on the console. It's not just weapons. Every system we study gives us an advantage. We understand their shields, their communication, even their medicine. Humans can survive in places no other species can. We are becoming what they feared most. Ethan smiled grimly. The Deathworlders. The name had started as a warning from aliens, a way to describe humans who had survived Earth. But now it had become a badge of honor. Humans were using the harshness of their world as a weapon. Across the galaxy, reports of human raids caused panic. Small fleets disappeared. Entire colonies lost communication, and alien administrators vanished. Humans struck where no one expected. They attacked at night in asteroid fields and through uncharted wormholes. Their methods were unpredictable. Their courage unmatched. In a command center hidden in the asteroid belt near Altaris, Ethan and Laura planned their next strike. Derek displayed the routes of a convoy carrying thousands of captured humans. If they succeeded, it would free an entire fleet of slaves and destroy key supply lines. We go in fast, Ethan said. We disable their escorts first, then free the prisoners. Everyone stays quiet. We cannot afford losses. Laura studied the convoy schematics. Their shields are weak at certain points. We can exploit that. And I've discovered a way to scramble their sensors. They won't see us coming until it is too late. Derek grinned. Then let's do it. The mission began. Human fighters moved like shadows. They used stealth, speed, and precision. Aliens were strong, but they were not prepared for humans who adapted quickly. In hours, the convoy was disabled. Prisoners were freed. The humans returned to the asteroid base, tired but triumphant. Each victory taught humans something new. They learned to anticipate alien tactics. They learned to repair ships with limited resources. They learned to use the environment to their advantage. Forests, mountains, asteroids, and space debris became natural shields and traps. Humans had turned survival into a skill the galaxy could not match. Laura began studying alien biology more closely. She discovered weaknesses in communication and sensory systems. Some species relied heavily on pheromones, sound patterns, or electromagnetic fields. Humans could disrupt them. In battles, even the strongest alien soldiers could be confused, slowed, or forced to retreat. Ethan realized that humans were becoming more than a resistance. They were becoming a legend. Across the galaxy, whispers spread of the Death Worlders, humans who survived impossible conditions, who fought relentlessly, and who never surrendered. Alien fleets began to hesitate before engaging, knowing that even small human teams could destroy them. One day, on the desert planet of Corrales, the human team found a hidden archive. It contained records from the Council itself. Laura pored over the data. Ethan, they were always afraid of us. Not because we were weak, because we were strong. Earth made us strong. Every disease, every predator, every harsh winter, it forged us into something no other species could match. Ethan's eyes narrowed. They thought they could enslave us. They thought fear would control humans. But fear made us stronger. Every step they took against us, every attack, every attempt to enslave, it made us ready for this moment. Meanwhile, humans were no longer only striking small convoys. They began attacking entire outposts. Supply depots, shipyards, and command centers fell one by one. Every freed human joined the fight. Each new recruit was trained by Ethan, Laura, or Derek. The Death Worlders were growing in number, skill, and confidence. On one planet, humans faced their first major fleet. Hundreds of alien ships waited to crush them. Derek took the lead, flying through narrow asteroid fields. Ethan directed the attacks, choosing targets carefully. Laura disrupted the alien sensors, causing confusion. Humans struck with precision, disabling the lead ships and forcing the rest to retreat. It was a major victory. The humans had not only survived, they had won. The Council began to panic. They had expected obedience. They had expected fear. What they did not expect was adaptation, strategy, and relentless courage. Entire alien systems began to question the Council's wisdom. The humans, once considered weak, were now a threat that could not be ignored. Back on Earth, life continued under the constant watch of alien scouts. But humans had learned to hide, to communicate secretly, and to prepare for the day of full resistance. Children were trained in survival. Scouts moved silently across forests and mountains, and engineers built weapons and tools in secret. The planet itself became a fortress. Ethan, Laura, and Derek returned to Earth for the first time in months. The cities were in ruins, but the people were alive. Human communities were strong, united, and ready. They may have taken the skies, Ethan said, but we own the ground. And the ground teaches us patience, strategy, and endurance. Laura smiled at a group of children practicing traps and drills. They will be the next generation of Death Worlders. They will be ready when the galaxy comes again. Derek watched the horizon. They always think they are safe. They never learn. The galaxy does not understand humans, and they never will. Ethan looked at the stars above. Alien fleets shimmered in the distance, powerful and threatening. But humans had something stronger than ships or weapons. They had courage, intelligence, and the will to survive. And they had learned to fight on their terms. Across the galaxy, human attacks continued. Small raids became larger. Freed humans formed their own squads. Communication networks spread between worlds. Humans no longer relied on luck. They relied on planning, skill, and determination. In one remarkable strike, humans hijacked a massive alien transport carrying troops and weapons. They turned the transport into a moving base. From it, they struck multiple systems in a single day. The aliens could not believe it. Humans moved too fast, struck too precisely, and adapted too quickly. Ethan, Laura, and Derek realized something vital. Humans were no longer merely resisting. They were shaping the war. Every victory gave them confidence, every defeat gave them lessons. The galaxy had once tried to enslave them, but in doing so it had created a force the Council could not control. Laura reflected on what they had learned. Humans are more than survivors. We are fighters, teachers, and problem solvers. The galaxy has never seen a species like this. Every challenge we face only strengthens us. Ethan nodded. The Council will regret the vote of chains. They thought Earthlings were simple. They were wrong. They have created the Death Worlders. The humans trained harder. They built faster ships, stronger weapons, and better shields. They studied alien tactics and developed countermeasures. They learned to move through space undetected and strike where the enemy least expected. Humans were becoming a force that could not be ignored. Derek smiled as he piloted a captured alien craft through a field of asteroids. We are fast, smart, and fearless. The galaxy has no idea what is coming. Ethan watched from the bridge. The galaxy has already begun to notice. They fear us, but they do not understand us. That is our advantage. They think humans fight like other species. They are wrong. Humans fight like Deathworlders. And so the rise of the Deathworlders continued. Humans were no longer only defending themselves. They were striking, freeing, and teaching others. The galaxy had once voted to enslave them. Now humans were learning to fight back on a scale no one had imagined. The Council had created a problem they could not solve. Humans had learned to use every advantage, to turn every hardship into strength, and to strike with precision. The once weak and scattered species was becoming unstoppable. Ethan looked at the stars again. One day the galaxy will know. They will know what happens when a species born on a death world learns to survive, adapt, and fight. Laura placed a hand on his shoulder. And when that day comes, we will be ready. Derek adjusted the controls of the stolen fleet. Let them come. We are Deathworlders. We survive, we strike, and we win. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. They had thought the humans were weak, chaotic, and primitive. But the rise of the Deathworlders had begun and nothing would stop it. The vote of chains had lit a fire, and that fire was spreading faster than any alien could contain. The Galactic Council had ruled for centuries, commanding thousands of worlds and billions of beings. They were proud, powerful, and cruel. They had voted to enslave Earth, believing humans would break under alien rule. But they were wrong. Ethan. Brooke stood on the bridge of a massive captured alien command ship. The stars stretched endlessly around them. Derek Cole piloted a small fleet, maneuvering through asteroid belts and wormholes with speed and precision. Laura Pierce monitored energy signals, scanning for weak points in the Council's defenses. We are close, Ethan said quietly. The Council's homeworld is just ahead. The fleets guarding it are strong, but not enough. They underestimate humans. That is our advantage. Laura nodded. We have studied everything. Their shields, their communications, their weapons. We know where to strike. One careful move and we can break them. The human fleet approached the Council's capital world, a massive planet encased in orbiting defenses. Ships larger than cities floated above it, ready to strike down any invader. Energy shields pulsed in colored waves, weapons hummed, and massive orbital stations waited to intercept. Derek grinned. Let's show them what humans can do. Ethan gave the order. Human ships scattered in formation, attacking from multiple directions. They struck weak points in the alien defenses using speed, stealth, and precise targeting. The Council's fleets fired back, but the humans were too fast, too clever, and too fearless. Laura disrupted communication systems, causing confusion among the alien commanders. Signals failed, alarms blared, and the fleets could not coordinate. One by one, the alien ships fell. Explosions lit the void as humans moved like shadows, striking relentlessly. On the planet below, the Council's leaders gathered in panic. They watched as their fleets fell one by one. Their pride turned to fear. No species had ever survived such precision, such courage, and such determination. They had thought humans would beg, cry, and obey. Instead, humans were winning. Ethan led the boarding of the main Council flagship. He, Laura, Derek, and a small team of humans moved silently through the corridors. Alien guards rushed to stop them, but the humans were ready. They fought quickly and efficiently, using tactics the aliens could not predict. Inside the command chamber, the Council members sat in shock. Their voices rang with fear. How did they get here? One demanded. Ethan stepped forward, calm but firm. You voted to enslave Earth. You thought humans would bend. You were wrong. We are no longer your subjects. We are your judges. The humans disabled the main control systems. Communication links to other fleets were cut. Ships in orbit froze. The Council realized too late that their power had been broken. Humans controlled the battlefield. Humans controlled the war. Outside, Derek piloted the captured command ships, disabling the remaining orbital defenses. Explosions erupted across the skies. Shields collapsed. Cities fell silent. The Council had no way to fight back. Laura worked quickly, scanning for hidden weapons. There are still energy cores that could destroy the planet, she warned. We need to disable them now. Ethan and his team moved through the command center, deactivating the deadly cores. Every move was precise, every action deliberate. The humans were careful. They did not want to destroy the planet, they wanted to end the Council's rule. Meanwhile, on other worlds, human raids continued. Freed humans, trained and equipped, struck Council colonies. Alien governors fled. Entire systems surrendered without a fight. The Council's control was collapsing. The galaxy that had once voted to enslave Earth was now crumbling under the power of the Deathworlders. Back on the Council's homeworld, leaders sent envoys to beg for mercy. Ships approached the human fleet, white flags raised. Messages were sent. We surrender, please spare us. We did not know humans would be this strong. We beg for forgiveness. Ethan read the messages, his expression calm. They thought fear would control us. They thought threats would break us. Now they beg. But mercy must be earned. Laura looked at the screens. They will never forget what they tried to do to Earth. But we can choose how to act. This is our chance to show strength and wisdom. Derek adjusted his controls, watching the approaching envoys. I never imagined humans could rise like this. The galaxy is finally learning the meaning of Deathworlders. The human fleet allowed the envoys to land. Ethan and Laura met the alien leaders personally. The Council members were trembling, their faces pale. We apologize, one stammered. We voted to enslave Earth. We were wrong. Please, spare us. Ethan looked at them, his eyes steady. You thought a vote could chain humans. You thought your fleets could intimidate us. You were wrong. You tried to enslave a species that survives death worlds. You created a force you cannot control. Laura added, Earth is no longer a planet to be conquered. Humans are a people to be respected. We offer you a choice. Work with us, or live with the consequences of your actions. The Council fell silent. They had never been spoken to like this. Their arrogance had been broken. For the first time, they realized that humans were not just survivors, they were leaders, fighters, and judges. Across the galaxy, human victories continued. Planets that had been under Council control now sent envoys to Earth, offering allegiance. Systems once loyal to the Council now joined the Terran cause. The power of the Council was gone, replaced by the rising influence of humans. On the human fleet, Ethan looked at the stars. This is only the beginning. We have won the battle, but the galaxy is vast. There are still threats, still challenges. But the Council has fallen. Humans are no longer victims. Laura smiled. We have shown them that survival is only the first step. Humans can fight, learn, and lead. That is our advantage. That is why they will never enslave us again. Derek laughed quietly. And they thought they were powerful. They have no idea what comes next. The Council members were brought to Earth under human supervision. They were treated fairly but firmly. They could not rule. They could not command. They could only witness the strength and wisdom of a species they had tried to destroy. On Earth, people rebuilt. Cities grew stronger. Technology improved. Training continued. Humans had proven that even the strongest fleets could not defeat the determination, intelligence, and courage of a species born on a death world. In secret, Ethan, Laura, and Derek began planning the next steps. They would ensure that the galaxy understood what had happened. They would teach humans how to govern, protect, and inspire. The vote of chains had been the spark. The rise of the Death Worlders had become a movement that would shape the stars. Ethan looked at the alien leaders on Earth. You wanted chains. You wanted fear. You created a species that cannot be controlled. Remember that. Learn from it. And maybe, just maybe, you will survive the lesson. Laura placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. The galaxy has learned a new truth. Humans survive, humans adapt, and humans strike. The council is broken, but the work is not done. We must prepare for the future. Derek watched the alien envoys with a mix of curiosity and caution. They begged for mercy. That is their first lesson. The next lesson will be their choice. The stars were quiet now. For the first time, humans could see the galaxy not as a place of fear, but as a place of possibility. The council had fallen. The alien fleets had retreated. Humans were no longer prey. They were leaders, warriors, and protectors. Ethan looked out into the void. We survived. We fought. We won. And the galaxy will never forget the day the Death Worlders rose. Laura nodded. And the story is just beginning. Humans will continue to learn, to grow, and to protect. That is what it means to be born on a death world. And to survive it. Derek adjusted the controls of the fleet, ready for the next mission. Let the galaxy come. We are ready. We are humans. We are Death Worlders. And we will not be forgotten. The council had fallen, and the galaxy had begun to change. The vote of chains had created not slaves, but legends. Humans had risen, and the stars would never be the same. The galaxy had changed. The Galactic Council was broken, its fleet scattered, and its leaders brought to Earth under human supervision. Humans were no longer the weak species the Council had once tried to enslave. They were warriors, teachers, and leaders. Across the stars, the word Death Worlders spread, a name both feared and respected. Ethan Brooks stood on the balcony of the rebuilt Human Command Center in New York City. The ruins of old buildings had been replaced by strong structures, equipped with new technology scavenged from the alien fleets. Derek Cole flew overhead, testing the patrol drones humans had adapted from alien systems. Laura Pierce reviewed reports coming from liberated colonies and human outposts. The galaxy is quiet now, Ethan said. But quiet does not mean safe. We have power, but we must use it wisely, Laura nodded. We need to show them what it means to work with humans. The council begged for mercy. Other species will follow if we lead carefully. In the distance, alien envoys approached Earth. They were small groups, their ships clearly marked as peaceful. Their leaders had traveled across light years to ask for forgiveness. Every species that had once voted to enslave Earth now sent representatives. They arrived not with weapons, but with messages, offerings, and pleas. Ethan and Laura met the first delegation personally. The aliens knelt before them, their voices shaking. We voted to enslave your world. We were wrong. Please forgive us. Humanity is stronger than we imagined. Ethan looked at them steadily. You thought fear would control us. You thought threats would bend us. You were wrong. We are no longer your subjects. We are your equals. You may ask for mercy, but respect is earned, not given. Laura added, we have shown the galaxy what humans can do. You tried to enslave a species that survives a death world. Now you must understand what that means. Work with us as partners, or live with the consequences of your actions. The alien envoys nodded quickly, trembling. They understood that Earth was no longer a planet to conquer, but a power to respect. Across the galaxy, similar meetings took place. Every species that had once tried to enslave humans now approached cautiously, hoping for mercy. In space, Derek piloted a fleet escorting an alien convoy to Earth. The convoy carried leaders from systems that had surrendered. It's strange, Derek said. They come here begging for help after trying to destroy us. Do you think we should trust them? Ethan smiled faintly. Trust is earned. We will guide them, but humans will not be fooled. We have learned too much to be tricked again. Laura looked out at the stars. The galaxy has begun to change. The council is gone. Humans are rising. But our work is not finished. Every system that joins us must understand what it means to work with Death Worlders. On Earth, cities were alive with rebuilding efforts. Humans had repaired old infrastructure, built new fleets, and trained countless soldiers. Children learned the history of the votive chains and the rise of the Deathworlders. They learned survival, strategy, and courage. Humanity's strength was no longer hidden. Ethan addressed a council of humans and alien representatives. The galaxy once voted to enslave us. That vote created the Deathworlders. We survived, we adapted, and we fought. Now we offer a new path. Work with us, learn from us, and respect what humans have achieved. Or be left behind in a galaxy that no longer fears you but watches you carefully. Laura stepped forward. Humans are protectors but also learners. We can share knowledge, technology, and strategy, but we will not forget the chains that were placed on our species. Every species must understand that. The alien leaders listened silently. Fear and respect mingled in their eyes. They had seen humans destroy fleets, liberate colonies, and outsmart fleets far larger than theirs. They had learned that humans were not only survivors but masters of adaptation. Derek landed his ship on the central platform. Some of them will still try to deceive us, he said. We must remain vigilant. But overall, the galaxy knows who controls the future now. Months passed. Alien systems pledged loyalty to Earth, joining the new Terran Alliance. Free humans spread across liberated planets, helping species rebuild. They shared technology, taught survival skills, and helped restore order. The galaxy that had once tried to enslave them now relied on their guidance. On Earth, Ethan, Laura, and Derek met at the top of the rebuilt command center. They looked at the stars, fleets moving in formation, human ships alongside alien vessels that had once tried to destroy them. We did it, Derek said quietly. The galaxy is begging for mercy. They come to us now not to fight but to ask for guidance. We have turned their fear into respect, Laura smiled. We have shown them that survival is not weakness. Strength is not cruelty. Humans survived death worlds, and now the galaxy must learn from that. Ethan looked down at the planet, seeing cities full of life, children playing, and humans training for the future. We survived chains, attacks, and betrayal. We adapted, we fought, and we won. But this is just the beginning. The Terran Alliance must last. We must lead with strength, wisdom, and justice. The alien envoys bowed once more. We will serve, learn, and respect, one of them said. We will not forget what has happened. Humanity has shown us a power beyond anything we imagined. Ethan nodded. Remember this. Humans do not forgive easily. We do not forget quickly. But we are fair. We protect, we teach, and we lead. The galaxy can now be united. Not by chains, but by respect and courage. The Terran Alliance began to flourish. Systems that had once been ruled by fear now work together. Humans helped develop medicine, technology, and defense strategies for allied species. The galaxy was changing, guided by the species that had survived the harshest world of all. In the skies above Earth, human and allied ships flew in formation, signaling unity and power. Children watched from the ground, learning to pilot small crafts, train for survival, and understand the history of their species. The story of the votive chains was taught as a lesson. Never underestimate a species that survives death worlds. One of the alien leaders approached Ethan. You have shown us what it means to survive and lead. We came to beg for mercy, but we now understand that humans are more than warriors. You are teachers, protectors, and leaders, Ethan nodded. Mercy is offered, but respect is earned. You have the chance to rebuild with us. Fail, and the galaxy will remember why humans are called Deathworlders. Laura placed her hand on Ethan's shoulder. The galaxy has learned the meaning of our name. Fear cannot control humans. Chains cannot bind us. And the votive chains created the strongest species in the stars. Derek smiled as he watched the alien ships depart for their home systems under human guidance. They begged, they pleaded, and they learned. Now they follow, and we lead. The stars were quiet but alive. Fleets moved in formation, systems communicated, and humans spread across the galaxy sharing knowledge, protection, and guidance. The galaxy had once voted to enslave Earth. Now it came to humans, asking for mercy, hoping to survive under the guidance of the Deathworlders. Ethan looked at the stars and whispered, We survived. We fought, we led. The galaxy will never forget Earth, and it will never forget humans. Laura added, and we will continue to protect, teach, and grow. That is what it means to survive, to adapt, and to rise from a death world. Derek grinned. Let the galaxy come. They have learned their lesson. Humans are Deathworlders. We survive, we strike, we lead. The galaxy had once tried to enslave Earth. Now it bowed not in chains but in respect. Humans had survived, adapted, and risen. The vote of chains had created a force that could not be controlled. The Deathworlders had come, and the stars would never be the same again. From Earth to the farthest reaches of space, humans led the Terran Alliance. Systems thrived. Knowledge spread. Peace, guided by strength and wisdom, replaced fear and oppression. The galaxy had begged, and humanity had answered, not with cruelty but with justice, courage, and mercy. Ethan looked at Earth from orbit, seeing the planet alive, rebuilt, and thriving. We were almost enslaved. They tried to break us. But humans survived. We adapted. We fought, and now we lead. Laura smiled at the view. The galaxy has learned the lesson of a death world species. Humanity will never be forgotten. Derek turned to Ethan and Laura, and we will make sure they never forget it. Humans are death worlders. We survive, we fight, and we lead. The stars shone brightly. Humanity had risen. The galaxy had begged. And the story of Earth and its people became legend. A tale of survival, courage, and the rise of the Deathworlders.